So you guys, I have the coolest thing that I want to share with all of you. So we've spoken quite a bit recently about Passover. I've also mentioned recently that Jesus, I believe, was born in the fall, but I've never said with 100% certainty that Jesus was born in the fall. There's always this small portion of me that cannot reconcile the fact that lambs are born in the spring, even though through the scriptural evidence, the fall birth makes the most sense. And I have diagrammed for you a spring birth and a fall birth in previous videos. So let me just kind of give you a quick summary on Exodus 12. We've talked about it a lot recently, but we know that God says this is the beginning of months. It goes on to speak about what to do with the lamb on the 14th, etc., to roast it with fire, unleavened bread, etc. It goes on to say at the end of Exodus 12, verse 11, you shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. So Passover's in the spring. I know you're all with me on that. So here is something really interesting. So I love it when we get this little bit of information that just kind of helps solidify all of this for us. So we know that for lambs, that because they're born in the spring, that makes their most fertile and normal time of them to cycle and to go into heat and to have a baby. We know that they are most fertile in October and November, which would make a lamb being born in the spring, typically March and April. So I've just had this desire, like, I need to look this up. Are lambs ever born in the fall? They are. This is the thing. I had no idea. And just because I live in Wisconsin and have land doesn't mean I know all there is to know about farm animals. So, back to this most fertile months, October, November, March, April lamb season when lambs are born. I found something else out. So there's a couple things that I want to mention. That there are some breeds of sheep that are less sensitive to the changing of the day lengths than others. And so they will cycle all throughout the year. And so I really was not aware of that. But also there is a way in which that they can sort of, men can sort of make some changes to sort of make them more fertile at a time that they're not, to give them a fall birth. So that was kind of interesting. But here is like the one that just literally blew my mind. So I'm just going to read something to you. It says, lambs born in September, October. By the way, I think Jesus was born in September. That is the month that I think that he was born. So it says, lambs born in September, October typically reach market weight for the winter holidays. Then it has in quotations, Christmas and Easter. Now, of course, we know Christmas isn't in the scriptures, and it's called Hanukkah, and Easter isn't in the scriptures, it's called Passover. But the point is that lambs born in the fall are ready for slaughter. And that includes the springtime. That was mind-blowing to read that, because we know that Jesus was slaughtered in the springtime when Passover was. So lambs born in the fall reach their typical market weight for the winter holidays. Christmas and Easter is what it says. So think about that. Jesus, being the sacrificial lamb, would have been ready for slaughter in the spring. Think about that. That was pretty eye-opening to me. So I love this, because this just gives me that little bit more that I need, because I've never been able to reconcile the spring birth, lo and behold, to find out that there are lambs that give birth in the fall, and those ones born in the fall are ready at Christmas and Easter for slaughter. It's amazing. What an interesting parallel. Armor up, we ride at dawn. May God bless you as always. Have a great day.